Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John, back with my girl, Nikki. Nikki, how are you?
I am good. How's you?
I'm good. I feel like we need to lay some ground rules for this podcast. So we have Kelsey Kiel on. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks
So
for asking.
You're
Nikki is
welcome.
a monster Fleo fan. And if you guys spend this
Oh,
whole podcast talking about booty shorts, I'm going to be really uncomfortable and disappointed.
well, we
So,
could also talk about leggings. We could talk about
right.
bras, and we don't have to stop just
Yeah.
at booty shorts.
It's just going to be an entire show of women's apparel. That's
T-shirts,
really what
tank
I need. So
tops,
that's the ground rules. We got to talk
crops.
about things other than that. But
Okay.
otherwise, I'm good. So
Okay.
there you go. So
I feel
Kelsey,
like
how
we
you
have
been?
we have much more interesting things to talk about with
Yes.
Kelsey now that she's here. How's that? Yeah, how is everything going, girl?
Oh man, it is going. That's been my answer the past 2 days. People are
Okay,
like, so how's
okay.
it today? I'm like, oh, it went.
I
um,
am alive
I'm
and just
I'm
here.
walking. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing well, like emotionally.
Cool. Good. Good. For
um,
the listeners that may not have heard yet, Kels has taken a minute away from the typical day by day CrossFit stuff that we kind of probably know you for and follow you on Instagram and all that stuff. And you're with the US Olympic Bobsled Team, correct? In
yeah.
their training facility, which is where is it? Upstate New
So
York?
yeah, we're in Lake Placid, New York, way, way, way north.
Ooh.
Very cold.
Is it already
um,
cold?
it was well today was a little bit nicer. It was like 50, but it's been chilly in the mornings.
Yeah,
Like
I
very,
bet.
very cold. But yeah, I got up here. I guess it's been like 8 days, 9 days, 9 days now. I had to do a 6-day quarantine when I first got here,
Got it.
and people were laughing at when I said I got my outside time, but they were pretty like they were on their game here about
Mm-hmm.
like really just making sure that the athletes that come in are safe and healthy. I had 2 COVID tests as well as an antibody test while I was here, or while I was in quarantine, and I got an hour outside each day.
Ooh. Well, it
But
makes
it was like,
sense. Makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
totally makes sense. They got to keep everyone safe. It's like you're in a bubble here when you're in, so it's like you just have to deal with 6 days in your room first.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like from just what I've seen from what you've posted, it almost looks like dorm style. Like, do you feel like you're in college again?
Oh yeah, yes. So when I also went to school in upstate, like Western New York. So
Oh
driving
man.
up here, I was like, I'm going to preseason for my collegiate soccer days. Like it felt very like I was going back to school. Um, they're definitely nicer than like a typical dorm room. Like
Okay.
we get linens and like that kind of thing.
Ooh. Is it the twin
But it is
extra long bed though, still?
it's not extra long,
Oh.
but it's comfortable.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
I'll take
sleeping
it.
really well
Good.
for the most part.
Solid.
But yeah, it's definitely like a dorm with a cafeteria and everything's connected, and the push track is right outside my window and that kind of
Hmm.
thing. So
I feel like
yeah.
a mom, but I want to be like, are you making friends? Like, are people nice? Is it
Well,
cool? Like,
yeah,
Treating
I
you
mean,
well.
it's crazy. I've had to like reflect on the fact that this is like obviously so new. Everything's new.
yeah.
I get thrown into this um, quarantine, and it's in a new space, and it's not like I know anyone here yet. And then I get out of quarantine, and I'm thrown into a brand new sport that I know nothing about, and with people I don't know, and it's like it's a lot. It's a lot.
hmm I bet.
But
And
it's
especially
also
when you've been like in your, you're coming from the complete opposite, like in CrossFit and in the, I know you were up in Invictus Boston, like you have a little tight knit community there. And so it's like, all the time surrounded by people I
yeah.
know and love constantly. And then it's like, oh, like record scratch. I'm in a new place having to learn
Yeah.
new things. And I don't know about you, but for me as a grown up, like that's harder than it was when I was like 20, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. And I've had a few people recommend Brene Brown's podcast, the very first one.
Totally.
did about her FFTs. I listened to it back when she first released it, and I re-listened to it when I was in quarantine. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Got to lean
That's
into the
smart.
uncomfortableness of this, because there's going to be a lot of it.
So can we run it down a little? So how'd you make the leap from CrossFit to want to do bobsled? This is such a it's such a unique and unusual jump.
Yeah. Well, I knew nothing about bobsled other than what Blaine McConnell has posted on his Instagram. I just know him through Invictus and just through like the CrossFit world. So I knew of what bobsled was because of his shift to Team USA, but back in like July, I think it was, I was going through my Instagram messages, and I received a message from a current bobsled athlete's husband. And the only thing he said was like, have you ever thought about trying out for the bobsled team? And to be totally honest, normally I like would click delete. But for whatever reason, I decided to open it, and I replied back to him and I said, I don't even know what that would entail at all. I don't know what it would take to be a bobsled athlete. I've never, like, I wanted to be like, what's bobsled? Like, what is a bobsled? I don't know. So he's like, my wife's going to reach out to you. And his wife is the current world champion. She's the best pilot in the entire world right now. Her name is
MVP.
Humphrey. Yeah.
Cool.
She's super badass. So she messaged me on Instagram, and we went back and forth a little bit. And that was kind of how the door opened, I guess. She, I think just through the social media world, saw something in me in regards to my strength. That's always been a strength of mine is my like power of my strength, I guess. And I mean, I like barbells. We'll just say that.
Makes sense.
So I think she saw that and just kind of had a hunch and decided to see if I would even be interested. And I think that I can like get all philosophical on this, but like there was a reason that like my invite to the games was taken away, and that like that door kind of got closed. And you know, I was actually moving from Boston. I had already planned to move, and I was just in this huge transition phase in my life, and then like this door kind of opened. And so I just I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah, hell yeah, girl. No reason not to give it a shot. I mean, but so if she reached out and was like, hey, you want to like bobsled? And you're like, I don't know what that is, but like, cool, let's chat. And then did you like, when was the first time you had a chance to like test it or get in one or do the push sled thing that like looks like a sled, but it's not really a sled?
Yeah, exactly. So it was always just kind of like a conversation throughout the summer, just like every once in a while. Like I actually got on a call with her and the head coach once, and like started talking to my CrossFit coach about it and that kind of thing. But my plan was still, my lease was up at the end of August in Boston, and my plan was to move west to Las Vegas. That's where my coach is. He also coaches Carrie Pierce, and my plan was to be out there with them and, you know, kind of put my roots down out there. And Kaylee lives in Carlsbad, California. So we'd always talked about me kind of, you know, finding my footing a little bit in Vegas and then getting out to visit her. She has a pretty much what they have here at the training center, but it's obviously not on a track. But it's a mock bobsled. It's on wheels. You can kind of think of like a prowler, but on wheels.
Gotcha.
And longer, where you can add plates to it. It's pretty cool. So that was always the plan, was that I was just going to go out and kind of push with her and see how I did. And then my plan was on Saturday, my mom was going to fly up to Boston and help me move my life into a truck, and we were going to start my cross country road trip on that Sunday. And I got a phone call on the Friday before I was leaving, and she said, or whoever I was speaking with told me that they potentially had a bed for me at the Olympic Training Center in Lake Placid, New York. And this was another thing where it just kind of the pieces fell into my lap almost, because the lease that I had potentially was going to sign in Vegas fell through. So I knew that I wasn't going to have a place, but I had 10-day road trip. So I thought like, oh, I'll be able to find something and all that stuff. But the kind of like catch-22 to all of it was that if I went to Las Vegas and then to Lake Placid, I would have to do a 14-day quarantine when I got here. So she had kind of put it out there to me like, oh, maybe you want to stay in Boston for 2 more weeks before you get up to Lake Placid. Then you'd only have to do a 6-day quarantine, that kind of thing. And I really didn't want to stay in Boston, only because I had kind of like set my heart on leaving, and I'd said my goodbyes.
Of course.
It was just like sort of an uneasy feeling about staying there. Not that I couldn't have, and that people wouldn't have loved that and been supportive, but my mom and I landed on the idea of me driving my truck down to Philadelphia, where my mom lives, where I am kind of from. I'm from outside of Philadelphia. And so instead of driving across the country that Sunday, we drove south, and I got a storage unit in Philly, put all my stuff in storage, and lived at my mom's and at my like best friend's house back and forth for a couple of weeks until they told me I could come up here.
Wow.
So it's been like, okay, we're going to just put my life on pause in a way, but it's almost like not also it's not on pause because
no, it's not on pause at all. It's totally moving forward in this really cool, like once in a lifetime opportunity way, right, where like, who cares if you're not the next like number 1 US bobsled person, right, bobsleddy, I don't know what the word is. Like, who cares?
Was right, bobsleddy.
Bobsledder. Yeah, that's it.
Like, who cares? You're there and you're trying it, and clearly, like, you know, if the next CrossFit season rolls around and you started training again, or you got into a sanctional right away or whatever, like, you might not be able to do this again. Like, right. Why? Yeah. That's a perfect time. And maybe you'll love it. Maybe you'll be like, cross who? What?
Cross what? Yeah. I think that was kind of cool thinking about like as soon as I had this opportunity presented to me, when I was talking it out with my coach, I was like, both of us said, we can't not do it. Even if you fall on your ass and fail.
Yeah.
And I've fallen on my ass a few times. But I just knew that I would have regretted if I didn't do this. But I also have been thinking a lot about like if I didn't get my invite taken and I was still training for the games at that point when she reached out, I was like, I don't know if I would have even given it a realistic, like, you know, there's so many things that like, who knows what would have happened, but it's kind of cool looking back.
Yeah. John, this sounds like one big daily gratitude to me.
Yeah. Oh, end to end. I'm actually like, I watched the video of her pushing this thing and jumping on it the other day. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder how hard that is, because I know it's incredibly hard. It has to be incredibly hard, but it looks easy. It's like one of those, like, I don't know, like the only thing I could compare it to is like track and field, right? Like you ever watch track and field and you see people running hurdles, you're like, oh yeah, it looks easy. And then you go try to jump a hurdle and it's like damn near impossible. Like
you stand next to a hurdle and you're like, oh, so this thing's at my nipples. Cool.
You're like, okay, maybe it's not easy. And so I'm looking at that thing going, well, it kind of looks easy. Like you're not even really going that fast, and then you just jump on it.
You're not even really going that fast.
That's what it looks like.
All thoughts that I've had.
Hey, that's what it looks like. I'm not saying you're not going fast, saying it looks that way. But, you know, like I've done enough sports in my life to go, I know that's incredibly hard. So that's a long story to say, how hard is it really?
Yeah, what's it like?
Yeah, so you're talking to someone, I did play college soccer, but I always joke that we were like a much better drinking team than we were a soccer team. Like
that was my college volleyball team too.
We're a much better drinking podcast than an actual podcast.
Oh, so cool.
That works out for us.
Stayed with me.
Yeah, I feel like and both my high school and my college didn't have track and field. I've never been around sprint mechanics. in sprint technique. So that for me has been the biggest learning curve / thing that I'm like, why won't my body do it? I can see it. I know what I'm meant to do, but like that muscle memory is just not there yet. So that's for me been the hardest part. I can push something. I'm confident in my strength, but it's not about like running with the sled. It's about like your ground contact and you're pushing it. You're not running with it. So it's been like more of like just that mental trying to connect what I'm doing with my sprint drills into like what I'm doing when I'm actually pushing the sled. And honestly, like if you just wanted to like get out there and just kind of like run with it, it would be easy. Like the sled's out there, not heavy. The actual bobsled is heavy, but it's so that's not the hard part. Like I think anyone, especially if like you've been in the CrossFit space, you can get out there and run with it. But it's like that's not efficient and that's not going to get us the fastest start times and that kind of thing. So I think the hardest part for me has just been like having to drill these brand new things that my body has never done before.
You know,
And I mean,
yeah.
I've like looking back at college soccer, like we would have the 300-meter shuttle sprint test and like a long jump test. And I was always good at those, but it was always just because I was like explosive enough, like it, but it was never like the form was never there. So it was
Yeah.
like run that soccer ball as fast as you can, don't care what it looks like kind of thing. So
Exactly.
that's just been the biggest shift for me.
Huh.
well, I think it's
It's
cute
just like
that
learning a new sport.
Totally.
it's really cute that you think I could just go out and push that thing. So that
I
makes
think
me
you
feel good.
could.
Yeah.
I have all the faith in the world.
I don't know.
I mean, I think I could push it while walking.
Maybe.
It's on
That's
wheels.
as-
You'd be fine.
Oh, then yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
come on. It's on wheels. Man, if I can roll the barbell across the floor, then like,
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
right?
so how soon until they let you jump on that thing when it's actually going downhill and picking up speed?
So, well, the push track out there does like go what I have learned is called going over the crest. And then it goes up a little bit of a hill and you're like just riding it at this point. You've hopped in and you ride it up and then it rides back down and then you hop back out and you like put it close so the next person can go. Actual sliding on the track on ice in Lake Placid, I believe starts in November.
Ooh.
All right,
Are
how
you
fast?
excited? Like, does it go really fast?
It goes really fast, I
Like
think.
between 80 and 100 miles per hour.
Yes.
Oh my God, I would shit my pants. Are you kidding me? Like 100 miles an hour? They're not even a car. You're not inside of a car. You're just out.
Yeah, that's why helmets are important.
Yeah, they're wearing helmets and spandex. What could go wrong, Nikki? Come on.
I'm dead. I didn't realize they went that fast.
Yeah,
They don't tell you that in Cool Runnings.
right. They don't.
That's your entire repertoire of bobsled. I mean, I'm
That
making
is
fun
my
because
Mine
entire
too.
repertoire of bobsled
Yeah.
education. And if there are listeners to this podcast that have more than that, I'm calling BS.
yeah, I'm making fun because it's mine too.
I know. I'm like, what are you talking about? Come on, man. Greatest movie ever. But okay, all that being said, when you hop on it on the track, like the training that you've done so far, like it's got to pick up a little bit of speed. So you're probably getting used to it by now.
Not like that much speed.
Oh, okay, just
Not like
not 100
everyone
miles.
keeps saying like you'll learn all of this stuff out there and then you'll get on ice and it'll be totally different. And they always talk
Oh,
about how
great,
that
cool.
first run for a rookie is like, 'cause, like you have to get in, like you have to run on the ice with it and then you have to hop in and then you ride it down.
Right. Like you don't have a choice at that point.
Yeah, you gotta get in.
Have you ever been on like even like a motorcraft that's open air, like a motorcycle or a boat? Like
I've been on a motorcycle and a boat. Yeah.
I see, I would be pooping my pants too because I've been on really fast boats. So they go like 70 miles an hour, and you're just like you get the death
Yeah.
grip on the
Mhm.
steering wheel. So I can't even imagine when you have very little control. Oh.
Yeah. And I'm not driving, which is really, really, really good. It takes a lot to be a pilot. So luckily they are very experienced and they get in before me, they hop in and then I hop in behind and then she drives and then I pull the brakes at the bottom.
Oh, you have a very important job. How do you know when to pull the brakes?
Um, Great question. But I'm pretty sure the pilot yells at me.
Oh, great.
But I also like, it's also part of the sport is like understanding the tracks that
Of
you go to.
course.
So like I am
Neat.
going to have to like learn the different curves on these different tracks. Um, yeah.
We
Wow,
have to
you put a
do
lot
you,
of trust in each other.
and do you
The two
break
of you
more
in
than
this one.
once, or you just break at the end? Like I don't know
You
squat
just
about
break at the
bobsled.
end.
Just break at the
You
end.
kind of sit in like if your legs are kind of like this and you have like foot pegs like that and the brakes are between you. So like between your legs and you pull them up and then the things go in your legs.
Thanks,
So
Nikki, for
you,
the demo.
I'm
That was
like
great.
over here. For the people that don't watch this on YouTube, they're probably like, "What the hell are you doing
Yeah.
right now?" And I'm like, "Oh, so you sit like you're snow tubing, and then you just got it.
Something like that.
Oh my word, that is so cool! And it's a two-person sled only. What in my head, there are four people sleds too,
Yeah,
right?
so the men have 4 men and 2 men. The women just have 2. And new to this year is monobob, so just one person. Obviously, you have to be a pilot to be able to do monobob, but yeah, that's another one for the women.
Wow.
Why mono bob instead of uno bob?
It's a great
So these are the
question.
tough questions. These
I
are the
want to
tough
get as
questions.
close to mono boob as possible.
I guess.
True.
Man, we probably should have done some research on bobsledding before.
I know, we
this
probably
podcast.
should have done that before we
I
got
should
here.
probably have done some research as well.
I mean, that's fine. You're in it, so it is
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
is. So, like, what is your training timeline? Like, do you train with them for a certain amount of time, and then do you have kind of like tryouts or trials? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, I think no. I do know mostly what's happening. It's so I'm here obviously, and it's beginning of October.
Right.
Not everyone on the team is here yet, or not everyone who's trying out, because it's almost like unless you've won the world championship, it's almost like you have to reprove yourself every year, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, Kaylee won worlds last year, so she has a bye, so she's already on the team. She doesn't get here till mid-October. Another 2-time Olympic medalist pilot is going to be here in the middle of October too. So she's been doing it a while. So, but we train here through October, and then there's 2 team trial races before Thanksgiving. So that'll be like on the ice, pushing, just trying to go as fast as you can. And then we
And that's
break.
kind of it.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. So then we break for Thanksgiving, and then we go out to Park City, Utah, for about, I think it's about 3 weeks, where we're out there, and we have 2 more team trial races because there's a track out there, and then the actual Team USA is named on December like 16th or something. So based
Cool.
off of those races, yeah.
Nice. So it's just
I
like
have
a nice
about
little.
a month before I'm on the ice.
Whoa! So cool.
Here's a far too soon question for you then.
Okay.
Which do you want more? Win an Olympic gold medal or podium at the CrossFit Games?
I want the gold medal.
Gold medal?
Yeah.
Gold medal for your
Yeah.
country is pretty cool.
That's pretty
Yeah.
rad.
That is
Yeah.
it'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah. I consider myself a pretty much a realist when it comes to certain things, and I am in no way like putting down my abilities as a CrossFit athlete, but I'm not your Tia and your Carrie Pierce who are like every year they're going to be contenders, obviously going to the games type of deal. Like I know that even if bobsled doesn't work out and I do go back to CrossFit, I'm confident that I can get another CrossFit Games invite and be able to do that. Yes, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done as an individual athlete. But I mean, it doesn't feel this way day 2 of bobsled training, but people seem to think that I can be really good at this. It's pretty cool to like be able to work on the things that I'm already good at. Like CrossFit is so much of like what's your weakness? Because we're going to be doing that for the rest of eternity. I have been trying to become a long distance runner for the last year so that I don't get a 23rd at a sanctional event in a long run. But coming here, it's like, okay, I get to work on keeping my strength and getting more explosive and working on getting fast, which is like,
Cool.
that's kind of cool to be able to like focus on things that you're already decent at that you can get better at in order that will like directly affect the sport that you're in, which is kind of cool.
Well, Dave throws a curveball at the games one year and programs bobsledding, and you sweep the event, and there you go.
Monobobbing for time.
Monobobbing for time.
And you're going to be like, okay, what's up? What's up?
And in a weird twist, Matt Fraser takes first in the monobob because he's somehow been practicing it all year long. You know?
Somehow he knows how to drive a bobsled.
Of course he does.
Monobob. That's my new favorite term, monobob.
Same. It's the word of the day. I love it. I just think this whole opportunity is so neat. And I'm so glad for you and excited for you that you had a little pocket of time and of your life where you could be like, yeah, like now's the time. It makes sense. Like I'm already moving, I'm already going, I'm already like changing up my training. Like I'm already looking at next season completely differently than this season because it was a weird CrossFit season. It was a weird year. Like everything was all jacked up. Like why not give it a second? Give it to Q4 2020. See what happens, you know, and then reevaluate next year. Even if you don't make the team, like Metcons will always be there.
Exactly.
God forbid. So
I know.
Speaking of that, I mean, has this blown up your CrossFit training? Did you have to like forego your CrossFit training to do this? You're able to still train on the side?
Yeah. So my training has been like so weird, different. Like things are changing. Obviously, I for a while, like in that transition phase before I got up here, it was a lot of the same like structure of my training, but my Metcons were like prowler pushes with box jumps and like things like that would hopefully set me up for a little bit more success when I got here. I think that my coach did a really good job of, I mean, he's a CrossFit coach. He doesn't know what to do for bobsled. I mean, he's smart, so he knows like what I should do kind of. But now that I'm up here, it's also different because, I mean, as CrossFit athletes, we're so used to just like grinding, right? So we're like doing a 3-hour session in the morning, we break and we go home and we take a nap or we eat and work and then we go back for a 2-hour PM session. Like that was so normal for me when I was in Boston. And here, well, everything's super restricted because of COVID. We have to kind of like stay in our pods of people. So like I'm at the push track, a very, it's a set schedule. It's 3 times a week for an hour. And then I get the weight room 3 times a week for 2 hours. And those days, the only day that it's both on the same day is Saturday. So things definitely, we have to get like a little bit creative. There's a track relatively close by. So that is easy to be able to go get a track session in until it starts snowing here.
Which is tomorrow, probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
But my training, like, I think my body's going to be like, oh, this is amazing.
See, I was wondering.
Seriously.
You're like, oh, my shoulders feel great. I'm just
I
sleeping
can, like,
good.
Touch my toes and like my arm doesn't cramp. So I think my body's going to thank me, but I also, I still want to keep my aerobic capacity. I mean, it's not going to be where it would be if I was training CrossFit at all. And I understand that because that's not what my focus is. But like today I went into the gym bay and I did like a bike erg with some strict handstand push-ups and like hollow rocks. So like things that like were keeping my conditioning up a little bit. I think my coach also knows that like mentally for me, I'm going to want to be able to do that kind of thing. But where I'm going to be also working with, in conjunction with Justin, another coach he was the push coach here for a couple of years, and he's an Olympian in track and field. So he's going to help with the stuff that I need help in. because I need help.
I wonder if it'll be like just like way easier for your body to adapt and learn like sprint technique and these things that you're talking about when you're not totally wrecked from 7 hours of training yesterday. Like I wonder if that is going to be just like exactly what you need to get your, I don't know if it's slow twitch or fast twitch, whatever it is for twitching you need to do, like is probably not going to, your system's not going to be shocked by like, you know, the 17 Metcons you did yesterday. Right. So it'll be able to do all the new stuff.
Yeah, my CNS will be like, oh, fine.
Amazing. Wow. I love it. So
yeah,
cool.
I mean, this is literally, today was my second day on the push track. So it's like, and today I mean, today was a little bit better. Saturday, if we had talked on Saturday, would have been like.
What if all you have a lot of relationships with the CrossFit community. We have a lot of mutual friends, you know, FitAid, Chesty, Fleo, like a lot of those companies, none of which are sponsoring this, by the way. But I am curious, like this is a
but
big
if
leap.
they want to.
But if they want to, they can, especially the gallons of FitAid I have in my fridge. But you know, this is obviously a big leap from CrossFit. Like how has their reaction been to you, you know, kind of making this shift?
Yeah. I have been overwhelmed with the support from like the brands that I work with right now.
Cool.
Which has been, I mean, it's been a relief big time because it is not CrossFit. Not even close. But I think that I hope that, you know, the brands that I do work with, they can see that like, even no matter what like sport I'm doing, hopefully that they saw more in me than just like she was a CrossFit athlete. Mm-hmm. Because I try to pride myself on like being relatable more than just like, oh, she can snatch 200 pounds kind of thing. So hopefully they'll stick it out with me as we go through this, because I don't know what's going to happen, but everyone's been super supportive and like overwhelmingly so.
I wish my relatability was snatching 200 pounds. I'm not surprised that they're all supportive though. I mean, to me, CrossFit has always felt like we're training for something else, even though you know, those of you that are competitive athletes are training for the CrossFit Games. Like I think most of us that are really just casual CrossFitters get really excited to see athletes like yourself do something outside of the CrossFit world to prove how fit CrossFitters are. Like every time somebody does the Titan Games, we're all just like, thank God, like go prove to the world how good you are, you know. And and then when you do a, you know, no offense to the Titan Games, but a real sport like bobsledding, you know, an Olympic sport, like it's really, really cool to see. So,
yeah, I think too, like sharing your story and being able to be like, I don't know, Saturday sucked. Like I got here and I'm not great at this on day one. Like that is the relatable realness that like we all need, because we've all been there. Like we have all tried something new and have all been scared by it, or sucked on day one and did great on day 10, or sucked on day one and still sucked on day 10. Like it's life. It is what it is. And the fact that you're out there, you know, you work on your fitness so that you can, as John says, like, you know, take it outside of just the gym. Like that's what I think is going to make a real impact on people. How many people are going to see your story and be like, you know what, I'm going to try something new too. And it may or may not work, but that's okay. Like it's just life. Like we can't just live in our little bubbles. Well, right now we have to live in our bubbles. Right. Stay in your pod and wear a mask. But other than that, you know, non-COVID bubbles are.
Nikki, I will tell you the bravest part of the entire story to me was that she opened a DM from somebody she didn't know.
Accurate.
After all the stories we've heard on this podcast about creepy DMs, so as soon as you started telling that story, I'm like, oh my God, you opened it.
No,
like,
it was a picture.
Yeah.
It was a photo. It was a request for foot pics.
I know. She's like, I think bobsled's a euphemism. I don't know. It's just weird.
I'm like, what's happening?
He wanted to see my monobob. It was weird. John's got openings in his perv management department if you need.
I've had so many more people reach out to me, Nikki. Like, and I mean like big name CrossFit. So we've had Danny Spiegel's been on here a couple of times, and she keeps getting all these totally creepy DMs, and she posts it in her story all the time. And so I joke about it and I put it in my story, and now women are messaging me going, oh my God, I got one too. You take me on as a client. Like, I swear to God, it's like, I keep promising everybody, I'll wear the socks. I'll wear the underwear. We'll just tell them you wore it. We'll split the money.
We'll split the money.
I'll send photos of my nasty feet. You know, we'll tell them it's yours.
The thing is maybe this is like I don't know. But I posted a picture just to my story and tagged the company I was using for my Epsom salt bath. And my sister messaged me and she's like, people are gonna get weird with your feet and being in that picture. And I was like, no, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Oh, girl.
Well, alas.
Girl. Send them to John. John will make a Venmo account for the two of you, and he'll be like, yeah, bro, what do you want? Toe hanging off the edge of my shoe?
Yeah.
Big toe poking out the suds? $500. Just Venmo. Just Venmo me. And it'll be great. No big deal.
Or I could just let you do it, Nikki, because you just sell yours without even knowing.
Yeah, that was an accident. I got weird. Someone got weird with me and my feet when I tried to sell a pair of shoes online. Yeah. So that was naive and stupid. And I rolled with it. Though. I totally rolled with it. They were like, can I see your foot in the shoe though? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like that makes sense. And my husband was like, what's wrong with you? Like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I got caught into sending foot photos.
Totally scammed.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
Terrible. It's terrible. And for free.
I have gotten good at figuring out like who's going to get blown up. Danny will post something and I'll message her and going, you shouldn't have posted that. You're about to get 1,000 DMs. And she will. She'll get just 1,000 DMs for just what seems like an innocent, to your point, like, I love a salt bath. I'm as basic as they come. I'm not going to lie. I love it. Love a salt bath. Some candles, some light music. It's great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't post photos of it though, but I wouldn't get any DMs. But a woman does it and you show like a little pinky toe, you're done. You're getting hundreds.
Done. Screenshot up the wazoo.
I can be posting it was like a picture of Oliver on my lap and my foot was barely in the background and I got one. I was like,
the internet's a weird place.
You noticed? But wait.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I
didn't even know my phone was there.
So weird.
See, I wouldn't have noticed because I would have been looking at Oliver because I love that dog.
I know.
He's
so he's
cute.
With friends right now?
Yeah. So when I traveled for the different sanctionals last year, a girl from a gym in Boston was willing to take him. Yes, it was only week trips. And when I found out about this whole thing, the biggest thing for me was, what am I going to do with my dog? He's my baby. And my mom was willing to take him, but she also works. So he would have been in the crate a ton and she kind of felt bad about that. So I was just like, I wonder if she'll take him. And so I reached out and she was like, let's do it. So she's fostering him right now.
I love that.
And she's the best. She's taking care of him like I would. Like I get daily updates. If I text her, I'm like, you send me a picture. She'll like have him sit and like it's just the best.
Oh, of course.
The best would be him being right there, but
of course. No, I get it. I totally get it. I'm like absolutely neurotic about my dogs and like needing them to be like pampered and loved and like all of that. And
like if we're being honest, he's like my emotional support. Like when I'm having a bad day, it's like he just goes right here and it's perfect. But
that's what pets do. That's their job. They they know when we're having a bad day and they want to be there. Now cats want to kill you typically, like even when they know you're having a bad day, but dogs,
right. Much better.
So much better. Cats just wait for you to fall asleep and then they crawl up on your chest and try to suffocate you.
Right. No, dogs so much better. No, I totally understand it. And it's like whenever we go away, we have a girl who comes and stays at the house. She's our like live-in dog sitter for two reasons. One is because we have the dogs and we have the chickens. So like someone has to like actually be at the house to change their water and collect eggs and stuff. But two is because I just like we could board them if we needed to. But back in the day before we had two big boys, we had Ollie and a tiny little Pomeranian named Ruby who took, I'm not kidding, like 16 pills every day. 3 times a day because she was just like old and had a chronic heart condition and like, but was still kicking. Like all these pills were a pain in the ass and so expensive. And I had to come home from work every day on my lunch break to give her more meds, but they kept her like, cracking, no big deal. So this girl had to come over and stay at our house. I'm like paying her to live in my house and like eat the food out of my fridge and like cater to my dogs every whim and like change my chicken water and whatever. I could probably board my dogs for like half the price of having this chick stay in my home.
Literally.
I'm trusting her with my entire house. And I'm like, whatever, it's fine. We'll do it. We just have to have her over. We'll just have to have her over for like 10 days when we go on vacation. It's fine. It's like the cost of vacation.
Literally.
And I'm like, it's fine. Totally worth it.
Yeah, they are.
That is the advantage of a cat. Make sure they have water, food. See you later, Bean. Be back in a week. Enjoy yourself.
That's why he's such a dick to you.
Hey, listen, the girls come by. Meg drives
That's
over
true.
here, and they feed them, and they play with them for a couple of minutes, and they go on about his merry way. So
Makes sense. It makes sense.
but that is part of the reason why he's a dick to me. There's no denying it. Absolutely no denying it.
That's part of the reason why Ollie and Griff are just like, they know that they'll get whatever they want. I'm like,
Well, I don't know how you guys do it. My daughter had her 17th birthday this weekend, and I went over to her mom's house for a birthday party, and they have 2 dogs, and one's a puppy, and it's a poodle Bernie mix. So it's the size of a Bernese Mountain Dog, Bernedoodle, and it's huge.
Bernedoodle.
Huge. However, it acts like a 6-month-old puppy. And will just jump in your lap like it weighs nothing. That dog knocked me over like 4 times. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So Griff is over a year now. He turned a year in September. And he is literally like a tank with no driver. He acts like he weighs 10 pounds. He knocks shit over constantly. He steps on your foot. He weighs 100 pounds. Like it hurts. Like he's gonna break someone's toe. And he's just absolutely insane, like a 3-month-old puppy. That's why he's getting the big snippo in 2 weeks. And I can't freaking wait because it should like mellow him out a little bit. I can't take him anywhere. All he wants to do is sniff butt. It's like embarrassing.
Same.
Yeah. Also, John, we can't take John anywhere.
So they had 2 dogs at this party, and the other one was a puppy too. But the other one was a Chiweenie, so half Chihuahua, like half Dachshund, and like I don't know, one of those wire-haired Dachshunds. So it looked more like a Dachshund than a Chihuahua. But a typical Chihuahua is just full of hate and shiver. Like that's all it is. It's just like, it's always cold. It could be 90 degrees and it's still shivering, And so these dogs are like play fighting all night long. And the little Chiweenie is ferocious. You know how they get like when they get really like they're trying to kill the bigger dog, and the bigger dog is literally just dropping his big fat paw on the dog's head and just holding it down. And just
God.
And just thinking it's having the best time, and the little dog's just shivering and getting all pissed off.
I hate you so much.
It was the best. I was like, this is why I don't have dogs though. It's too much work.
It's a lot.
It is so much work.
Yeah. I'm glad you get daily updates. I feel like that's gotta be helpful.
It helps. And I FaceTime him. So
oh my God, that's amazing.
And I have like a whistle that I'll do. And if like he's in the gym or something, I'll do the whistle, come to me. And so on the FaceTime, I make sure to do the whistle. And he's like,
we should have sent him a
Does
Zoom
he hear
link.
it? I think he does hear it.
Oh, we should have sent him. We should have got him on the podcast.
I know.
We'll do it next time.
We could have had a little Zoom link. He could have been on. It would have been great.
Just been sitting there. He would have maybe been cute for like 5 minutes. And then he would have been like out of here.
All set. I heard that there was treats over there.
Fall.
Well, you get a break, right? You said around Thanksgiving or something like that?
Yeah. And I still don't know what I'm going to do for Thanksgiving because I'm also like, my family's in Philadelphia. My dog's in Boston. I'm in New York.
Oh, right.
And I need to fly then from wherever I am to Park City. So it's good. I have to do some thinking on that.
That'll be complicated. Good. Nothing about this year is easy. Come on.
Nothing.
So
but
complex.
That's kind of par for the course for all of us, I agree.
You're going to Park City.
Yeah.
It's Chris Spieler lives there, right? And that where his gym is?
That's right.
He's an OG. Go train with the OG. You could take a mono sled for him, although it needed to be the size of a skateboard for Chris Spieler, but still be awesome.
It's so funny. A lot of people have been like, oh, CrossFit Lake Placid is right there. And will you come do a workout? Blah, blah, blah. And I was actually thinking about posting a video to my Instagram and being like, guys, I'm not CrossFitting right now.
Right. Of course. Of course.
I can't really leave my bubble to go to a sweaty gym. First of all. Second of all, I love you, but I'm not CrossFitting right now.
Yeah, you can't. No, you got to do your thing. You can't mess
Yeah.
with your training. You can't be exposed to all sorts of people and then back into your athlete bubble. It doesn't make any sense.
I
It's
know.
only a couple months. I bet on day 2 of training, it feels like it's already been 10 years of this, but like it's only a couple months.
Yeah.
It's really cool. You're going to grow from this. And
Big
then
time.
who knows? You're either going to be an Olympian or you're going to be 10 times better as a CrossFitter because you've had outside experiences.
Yeah.
There's no downside.
There is none. And this, I mean, I'm meeting a ton of people and I'm learning so much. Like, and that's what I have to just keep leaning into is like this feeling that I am getting every time I leave the push track where I'm like, holy shit, I'm so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay and to be expected and normal.
Yeah.
And where it's uncomfortable is normally where there's the most growth. So I just keep reminding myself that. I'm saying this to you right now when I've had about 4 people have to say it to me for the past 72 hours. So
Yep. But it's good now that you're saying it out loud. It means it's really lodging itself right in there. It's got to be. It's got to be. Yeah.
Well, and I have a request that the first time you go down that bobsled at 90 miles an hour, capture video for me, please. Like just screaming your ass off. Like, I don't care.
How is she supposed to do that? She's
Take a
gonna be in the
selfie.
sled.
She'll be fine. She can use one arm. She can use one arm.
If she sticks an arm outside, you know the like roller coasters where they like keep your arms and legs in the thing.
She's a world-class CrossFitter. She's a games athlete. She can do double what everybody else can do. I want it on FaceTime or something, just something I can use for a meme. It would be great. This is about me, Nikki. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Great.
Sorry.
I'll keep you in mind.
That would be awesome.
I'll probably be pooping my pants out of nerves, so I might.
I would lose my shit. Oh my god. Good lord. It's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be. Do you like roller coasters?
I do.
Okay, so you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen?
They've told me that you don't ever, and they could totally just be completely lying to me. So this might be false information. But I've been told that you don't get that like stomach drop like you get in roller coasters because you're like going down a curve kind of.
Yeah, I can get that. Like it's just fast. It's not dropped.
There's no like sudden drops.
And you're wearing your like full on helmet and visor and whatever. So I feel like if the world is like rushing by you, it's still got to be kind of quiet in your own head, sort of.
And you're like up like this to like keep everything there and you're
I would need like a neck brace.
Can you guys both do that again? Because that was like
just
like
that's got to be the part you post on Instagram.
Yeah, right.
Here we are. We're all bobsledding. You ready? All right, here we go.
Okay, I'm ready. Wait. I was going the wrong way. I was on a different track.
I wrecked. I totally wrecked.
I forgot to pull up on the.
You didn't break. It was your fault. It's totally your fault.
Cut all of this from the podcast, please. Cut it all.
Almost everybody catches this on audio. They're gonna be like, "What the hell are they doing?"
What the hell are they doing?
Like,
all I hear is weird giggles and grunts. Like
it's a regular CrossFit day.
Yeah, regular.
You know.
All
Well,
right.
best of luck to you, girl. We'll have to have you back on again after a couple of weeks because I'm dying to know how the whole thing progresses. And if you don't follow Kelsey already on Instagram, highly recommend it because I'm just very interested in your journey here, and I think it's going to be wildly successful one way or another, whether it ends up, with an Olympic accolade on your resume, or it just ends up being this really cool learning experience that we could all gain something from.
Cool. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. Super fun. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And for everyone listening, we will catch up with you guys soon. Take care.